embedded in Azure Synapse Analytics. So this is really for organizations that don't want an existing or they don't want to use open source Spark, want the capability for data engineering and certain machine learning needs, and provides that functionality to spin up a Spark cluster as a pure PaaS service to meet data engineering demands. So if you have specifically focused, this is where you get a pure PaaS service that you don't have to take care of from an IaaS perspective, and you don't need the whole ecosystem of HD Insight, and you can just leverage Spark for data engineering needs. That's where Synapse really works well. And at the same time, if you already have a Databricks cluster, you can leverage Databricks with Synapse also. So these are some of the different use cases, and this is where we have different usages of Spark and versions of Spark available to us in Azure. So when it comes to Azure, Apache Spark, it's really a parallel processing framework that supports in-memory processing to boost performance across the board. So Apache Spark in Synapse is implemented in the cloud as a pure PaaS service, and Synapse really makes it easy to be able to quickly get going, and we saw it to be able to quickly configure a Spark pool in Azure, and the Spark pool in Synapse is compatible with Azure Storage, Data Lake Gen 2 storage, so you can actually very seamlessly process the data using Spark pools stored in Azure. One of the big efficiencies, obviously, for Spark is Spark instances. With Synapse Spark, they start approximately 2 minutes for fewer than 60 nodes and approximately 5 minutes for more than 60 nodes. The instances shut down by default, so it has auto pause basically, and 5 minutes after the last job is executed, unless it's kept alive by a notebook connection. So Apache Spark in Synapse provides you a great framework to be able to use all the Spark libraries such as SparkLib, GraphicX, Spark SQL for interactive queries, etc. And it provides us that seamless connection to Synapse SQL and the storage that we have. I hope that makes sense. So let's keep going and learn how to actually ingest data with Apache Spark into notebooks. Let's go over this very quickly, and then we can get right into how to do it across the board. So how do you access the notebooks? You access it directly from Synapse Studio. You have the web workspace URL. You just use that workspace URL and get access to your Synapse Studio. And from there, you can, in the Developer Hub, you can create notebooks very quickly, and then it supports, remember, that notebooks can be written in multiple languages, such as PySpark, Spark SQL, etc., Scala. In order to ingest data through notebooks, you can use a link service from the workspace. So, for example, if you have the data lake storage as a link service, which then has keys and access to automatically pass through to the storage account where you have stored files and you want to be able to ingest or read data into a Spark data frame very quickly. So you don't have to kind of manage the keys in the code, etc. The linked service manages that for you. You can access your primary storage account directly. There's no need to provide any kind of secrets. In Data Explorer, Synapse Workspaces, you can right-click on a file, let's say a Parquet file or CSV file, and click on Select New Notebooks, and you can directly start working on it with the auto-generated code that comes with it. And the great thing is, because you have multiple languages and it's bilingual, you can actually create multiple cells with different languages across the board as we start. And then what you can also do is you can export the results or store the results in the data lake or into Synapse SQL as you need. So let's go ahead and We can see that here we are going to start the default language